Okay, it's 5 o'clock, a few minutes after. We do have a quorum, and I will call the meeting to order. First order of business is the approval of minutes from the December 21st, 2021 meeting. Now entertain a motion to approve. Preston shakes his head yes. Is there a second? Steve, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. And motion carries. Tonight, we just have one public hearing, being Divines Unlimited LLC has applied for a variance on the property containing 0.263 acres located at 205 West 2nd Street, Perryville, Kentucky. The property is zoned central business. Mr. Hunter?
All right. So you should have all the items in your packet, and I've got stuff up on the screen. Let me turn this on. And this is the property at corner West 2nd, or we know as 150. And there had historically been a business at that location. I'm sure many of you recognize the business. There was a fire not long ago, and the property was raised after, some dealings with, I guess, after the fire. The property owner intends to build back on the site, and it's zoned central business, as you can see right there on the corner, which is for the downtown area. The central business zone pretty much has zero setbacks. However, when you're adjacent to a residential use or residential district, there's a 20-foot rear setback. So the building's kind of going back close to the same footprint, but they want to vary the 20-foot rear setback to allow a stairwell to be put on the back of the building. So it's a pretty straightforward variance as you get. Again, they could build back in the exact same footprint, but they want to go ahead and just marginally move the building. And again, putting the stairwell on the back of the building is going to suit the new build a little better. And there's a 20-foot setback requirement on that north side, because that is, going back to here, you can see that is one single, of all the property here is all zoned central business. This one property is still single family, and you can see the house right there in the picture. So there's a 20-foot setback because that's a residential structure, and zero on all other sides. So the variance request, again, is to go from 20 to 0. They're not going to the 0-foot line, but because they're going to put a stairwell in there, it's probably going to be 2 or 3 feet from the retaining wall that's back there. But they wanted to go to 0 just to give them a little bit of flexibility in case they have to move the stairwell a little closer to the retaining wall. Again, you can see the retaining wall a little better now that when the building's down. So again, they're going to be a couple feet off of that, but they wanted to go to 0 just for safeguard there. Your staff report outlines your review criteria and findings, conditions that you all can impose. There were no staff items of concern, and our findings and requirements are tied into the motion page there that Henry can help you with if you guys see fit to approve. The property owner is present, and he'd be glad to answer any questions you might have about the property. But again, they're just rebuilding to put a business back on the site there at the corner of Perryville. I don't know if you want to add anything or. It's up to you.
Hi, my name's Kevin Devine. My wife, Jenny, she's working tonight, but we just want to move the building down to about where the cars were in the picture. Well, it'd be to the right of the building, or right there, I'm sorry. But just like Steve said, just a stairway on the back to get upstairs if we need to. We plan on tearing out the old retaining wall, putting in new. That's the first thing we got to do. So that's really about all I know. But if you have any questions, I'm trying my best to answer.
Okay, thank you.
I've got a question, sir. Is the retaining wall the actual property line
Yes,
on
sir.
that side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
It might vary 6 inches, but
okay, thank you.
Mr. Devine?
Yes, sir.
Just curious about the reason for wanting to move the building back deeper into the property.
Just bigger,
Okay, okay,
that's, all the other boundaries would be the same,
okay.
just a little bigger building.
Okay, for the record, there's no one else here, so there'll be no public portion of the hearing to hear opposition or,
We had no cause of opposition. The city owns the property Catacorner on the side by the Chaplain River, and they just called in, they actually got a letter and just called to inquire about the variance and said they supported it.
okay, thank you. So I guess we'll move on to deliberation.
Steve, I can't quite read. What are those little blue blocks?
Those are easements, drainage easements that the state has. Am I correct about that? Yes, sir. Those are drainage easements are depicted on, they're outside the right of way, as you can see, the red lines are right of way. Those are state.
I believe those are manholes. I think there's manholes there.
And they're that shape for some reason.
And then Steve or Mr. Devine, did the prior structure, the one that burned down, did it infringe in the setback?
It did.
Okay.
Let me just clarify that the central business, before was the downtown district, it converted by name, always had 0 setbacks. The provision that's in your staff report, the additional setback next to residential, that was put in 2020. We didn't have that in the prior ordinance. That's an additional setback, again, when you're adjacent to residential district or use. So that came into effect in 2020. And so had the building still been there, it would have become non-conforming because of that additional setback. But the building historically would have met all 0 setbacks before the 2020 amendment.
I make a motion that we approve the variance.
Motion. Second? Okay. Mr. Campbell will provide the second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. And all opposed? None? So the motion carries.
I'm a little disappointed that Henry didn't wordsmith that one, but
You caught him asleep.
I thought we had about as comprehensive a discussion as we could on the matter. If you would like to undo your motion, no, let's proceed.
Okay. That concludes the public hearing. Is there any old business? Steve? Any new business?
One thing I'll mention is continuing education hours are still required. I haven't looked at the log in the last few days, but a lot of you attended the 2019 fall conference we had on smart growth. Those have fallen off by way of the 2-year kind of continuing, 2-year lapse. So some of you that may be closer on your continuing education hours, and we might need to look at that. And again, I think some of y'all went to the training in Harrodsburg.
that was 2019?
The Smart Growth Conference at Center was 2019.
Okay, I wasn't at that.
Harrodsburg training was last year.
That's, okay, I was like,
So
I
a
lost
few
some time
went,
there.
more planning commissioners went. That was all day, but yeah, you guys might want to look at your continuing education hours. I can get them to you. And again, you guys can watch videos, read books, attend seminars, do things on your own, but we want to make sure we all got our continuing education hours. I believe they gotta have 4. 4 every 2 years.
So if we went to Harrisburg, we're good for now.
Yeah, you would Ben, yeah, because you got 8 hours that day.
Steve, I haven't brought this up to you. I'll mention it for the board members' benefit as well. I have the opportunity to present a CLE on planning and zoning in May, and I might want to try out my material on you beforehand if you want. We could do it after a meeting, and that would get you an hour. So if that's something you're interested in. Okay.
Any more?
That's all I have.
Okay, that was announcements or new business? Any announcements?
You all may have.
Okay. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? We stand adjourned.